Hello, my name is Paul Clarke. In November 2020, I stepped down as CTO of Ocado, having led the sharp end of Ocado's innovation factory for many years, so I used to be part of the Hertfordshire innovation ecosystem. In my experience, successful innovation, let alone disruption, is an inherently nonlinear, messy, uncertain, risky, and frankly naughty process. Linear, neat and tidy, return on investment and data-driven recipes for innovation just don't cook well. You need to embrace uncertainty, ambiguity, unconventionality, and failure, whilst harnessing the power of bold, disruptive visions, serendipity, intuition, intersectional thinking, and leaps of faith. I'm passionate about these alchemical recipes for innovation, cooking with a cauldron of disruptive technologies such as data, AI, Internet of Things, synthetic environments, digital twins, smart machines, and living labs. These technologies are potent in their own right, but their real power is unleashed when they're allowed to react with one another in weird and unpredictable ways. For me, innovation is a bit like exploring a territory. You probably start with planned missions during which you reach vantage points that enable you to spot other potential areas of interest that were previously invisible to you. These then require off-piste explorations that might come with greater risk and uncertainty, and often requiring different equipment and competencies. These off-piste explorations are analogous to the opportunities that lie at the intersection of different technologies and disciplines. The transformative innovational dark matter often lies at these intersections, and yet our educational curricula, research institutions, research funding programs, and government strategies often relegate these technologies and disciplines to their individual silos. Another example of unhelpful segregation is how we often focus on our digital or physical world separately, rather than as a cyber-physical ecosystem. Where our digital and physical worlds collide live magical beasts such as digital twins, smart machines, and living labs, and it is at this cyber-physical intersection that the really exciting things happen. To tackle the challenges that lie ahead of us, both as a country and as a planet, we need a new generation of tools to enable us to work smarter and faster, with less cost and risk, more resiliently and sustainably, and with greater leverage and competitive advantage. The pandemic highlighted some of these tools that we had failed to build in previous peacetimes, and which we needed to fight that battle, not because nobody had thought of them, but because they were simply not prioritised. So we will need to build them now, not only to tackle future exogenous shocks such as climate change, but also to build greater prosperity, diversity, resilience, and sustainability during normal times. We need to reframe our concept of infrastructure to not just being roads, railways, and fibre broadband to rural communities. We need horizontal enabling cyber-physical infrastructure to support many missions and moonshots that lack the time, money, and often the vision to build such infrastructure for themselves, let alone on behalf of others. Cyber-physical infrastructure that liberates technology from their silos, that blends them together into a potent ecosystem along with the vitally important socio-technical threads such as security, privacy, ethics, and trust. A vision for such infrastructure is being progressed by the Robotics Growth Partnership that I co-chair. It is the subject of ongoing collaboration with BEIS, UKRI, and other stakeholders, and it featured in the recently published Innovation Strategy. The UK needs this infrastructure to drive prosperity, resilience, and sustainability. Our world needs this infrastructure because tackling climate change will require cyber-physical interventions at a planetary scale. But we also need it at a much smaller scale. Our vision for smart buildings needs to be much more than just smart thermostats and lights that turn themselves on and off. We need to treat buildings, be they homes, offices, schools, or hospitals, as smart, adaptive systems. In terms of homes, we need AI-based control systems and digital twins managing and optimizing their heating, lighting, power, communication, entertainment, security, healthcare, and other services in a joined-up and holistic fashion. We need new planning regulations to make sure that new buildings are smart by design. However, we also need to find simple ways to retrofit some of this smartness to existing buildings, for example with smart plugs and wireless sensors. We need the data from these devices to feed those control systems and digital twins, but also to selectively pass back to utilities, local authorities, healthcare providers, emergency services, and other service providers, with privacy, security, ethics, and trust baked in by design. However, the opportunities are not just digital in nature. We need research into new types of materials, devices, and smart machines. Local energy generation and storage, including heat pumps and electric vehicles, need to be integrated into these smart buildings and into the design of our utility grids. New types of autonomous smart machines in homes offer the promise of not just hoovering our carpets, but providing important services such as scalable remote healthcare, monitoring, and even companionship. The same holistic approach is then required at a community and county level to optimise the cost, resilience and sustainability of their services in order to improve the well-being of our citizens and take steps towards achieving our net zero goals. Take the example of logistics and last mile deliveries. Replacing conventional transport and delivery vehicles with electrical or hydrogen-powered ones will certainly help reduce pollution, but will do nothing to improve outcomes such as congestion, safety, resilience, or the utilisation of road networks in terms of vehicle fill. To address those challenges, we will need to drive cross-sector and cross-competitor coordination and collaboration to transform not just the transportation and underlying business models of the transportation and logistics companies themselves. To do this, we need a new breed of smart services powered by AI and digital twins, coordinating these logistics networks to optimize routes, improve capacity utilization, reduce energy consumption, and drive cross-sector and cross-competitor coordination and collaboration. We need to build what I refer to as an Internet of Freight at a county and ultimately a country scale. However, this optimization of how we move all manner of goods and people around is just one piece of a much bigger puzzle. We need to manage our homes, communities, towns, and counties as a complex, adaptive system of systems. We need a bold, holistic, transformative, and long-term vision for the future of these systems. We need new democratic structures and processes in place to provide continuity in the execution of this vision across multiple local and national government terms. We need to transform our ways of thinking, including adopting a systems thinking mindset and the sort of non-linear innovation recipes that I talked about at the start. We need living labs to safely test new technologies, products and services, but also to involve our citizens in this innovation process so as to tackle the socio-technical challenges I mentioned earlier. How will someone feel when a robot covered in cameras and sensors comes to their door to deliver a parcel, to fix their washing machine, or to work alongside them in a smart factory? What should it look like to engender greater trust? What are the privacy issues relating to the data these robots will be collecting? We need to invest heavily in our innovation ecosystem, including building new types of research institutions such as the Santa Fe Institute, MIT Media Lab, Bell Labs and Xerox PARC that have the culture and capabilities to focus on intersectional exploration, those off-piste missions I mentioned. Once again, this ecosystem is complex, messy and non-linear, with many different elements interacting with one another in weird and unpredictable ways, and with different coupling and time cycles. Very similar to a living ecosystem, where if you want healthy plants, you have to invest in healthy soil, and that takes time to establish. We need to see our counties as the living labs we will need to build a truly smart, prosperous, diverse and sustainable UK. We need cyber-physical infrastructure at a county level. And then last, but definitely not least, there's education. In this smarter and more automated world we are creating, there will be winners and losers. One of the few insurance policies we hold against the unintended consequences is education. We're facing massively non-linear challenges, and yet we have an education system that is linear and largely knowledge-based. Actually, it's based upon learning how to game mark schemes rather than true understanding and ways of thinking. The result is we are failing to prepare the next generation for the smarter and more automated world they will inherit. So we need to shift to a problem-centered learning based upon teaching enduring meta skills such as collaboration, creative thinking, problem-solving, intersectional thinking, mind mapping, goal setting, emotional intelligence, innovation and entrepreneurship. The relentless focus on exams, tests and the regurgitation of mark schemes is consuming almost all of the educational oxygen, leaving teachers with little or no time for spontaneity, for sharing their love of a subject or for just pursuing the curiosity of their students to see where it might lead. If we enable our children to leave school having learnt how to learn, full of curiosity, armed with a set of future-proof skills, and with a joy of ongoing learning, then they will be well equipped for their lives ahead. So I believe we need radical educational reform, but that requires a level of vision and bravery that to date successive governments have failed to muster. Put simply, given the challenges we now face, we need to be thinking much bigger, bolder, disruptively and longer term as individuals, organisations, counties, countries, and ultimately as a species. Thank you very much indeed.